Good evening, sir.
Glad to be here.
President Obama blaming Russia, and he said he spoke to Angela Merkel today, the chancellor, and he says they both agree Russia is responsible for the violence in eastern Ukraine. I thought we all knew that already.
Newsflash, this is emblematic of the president's lack of grasp of reality in this situation. It's not just that Russia's responsible. Russia has conquered territory of a former sovereign country using military force. That's not supposed to happen on the continent of Europe, and our response has been utterly ineffective.
Well, I'm not expecting Germany, who loves that Russian oil. I am looking at Angela Merkel and saying, "Oh, she's just agreeing that today."
Well, my understanding is that Russia and Germany are deep into negotiations to quote unquote solve the Ukraine problem. That it would include things like essentially agreeing that Russia has Crimea forever, decentralizing control over these eastern provinces from Kiev, and a variety of other concessions like Ukraine never joining NATO. That's a solution
and I'm sure Ukraine's very happy to find out that Germany and Russia are dividing up the country.
Yes, this is called partition of their country by great powers on the continent of Europe, and we've been there before, too.
Indeed.
The president has simply stepped out of the business of America providing security in Eastern and Central Europe, and I think the consequences are entirely foreseeable, that Russia will apply this lesson elsewhere, and other powers, like China, will apply it elsewhere in the world.
I hate to ask the next question, because that seems to sound like I concede that they got Crimea, but how far is he going? I mean, what else is he going to nab?
Well, I think the other countries of the former Soviet Union are all potentially at risk, because it's consistent with what Putin has said repeatedly for 10 years.
So there's no chance to grab Crimea back? That's a done deal, you saying?
I think in the European view, Crimea is gone. And the problem with that is that when we lost Crimea, or when Ukraine lost Crimea, it was accompanied by statements, "We will never let that happen." We did let it happen. So if the eastern provinces go, every other former republic of the Soviet Union, including 3 NATO members, the Baltic republics, has to worry about what's coming next.
Well, we say lots of things. I mean, President Obama said the red line, the crossing. We say that Assad's going to be gone soon. I mean, if you look back, if you roll the tape back, a lot of really silly things are said. I mean, there's a lot of talk with no consequences.
Well, I think that's the key. I mean, you can say a lot of silly things and get away with it if people think that you're prepared to take action when necessary. It's not that anybody's looking for conflict. The whole point of a position of strength is to deter your adversaries from taking steps that are harmful to your interest and those of your friends. And the president's rhetoric without action is gutting our deterrent and dissuasion capability.
Is he going to do anything on Ukraine? I mean, he's got a NATO meeting next week.
I don't think so. I think they're looking for some way to have a face-saving solution, or at least slow down the level of violence so that negotiations can proceed.
So it's tough luck, Crimea.
I think it's gone, because obviously the Ukrainians can't take it back from the Russians on their own. I think there's a lot more we can do. I see no evidence the president's prepared to do it. It would violate 6 years of performance for him to act, whether it's in Ukraine or act effectively in the Middle East.
All right, so one quick question. So what is Putin's next target? Which country?
Well, I think what he would like to do is move on back into Eastern and Central Europe. I don't think his ambitions stop with the former Soviet Union. I think the Warsaw Pact still looks pretty good to him. He wants a zone of influence that reflects Russia's status as the greatest European power.
Ambassador, thank you, sir. And joining us, our political panel, ABC News political director Rick Klein, The Hills, Alexander Jaffe in Washington, our chief political correspondent Byron York. Byron, how did you like that press conference today?
I think this was one of the president's worst performances ever. It just had to be. And I think one thing that was particularly bad about it, when he comes out and he says, we don't have a strategy, this came after a week of top administration officials, including the Secretary of Defense, saying how serious the ISIS threat was. And so you had the administration, and the president did say, well, maybe people got a little ahead of themselves. But they were clearly saying this, and they were telling people on Capitol Hill, because you had people like Mike Rogers of the House Intelligence Committee saying the same thing. And after you have all of this buildup on how dangerous they are, the president comes out and says, we don't have a strategy.
Alexandra, how did you like today's?
It's particularly problematic because it supports this perception that already exists of the president without a plan, and not just in Syria, but more broadly. He seems like he has no overarching theory behind sort of his foreign policy steps and movements, and that doesn't instill confidence in the American people. And also, his comments today really projected this weakness internationally that you don't want to be seeing at a time like this.
Well, actually, bring that up. Stephen Hayes, who's a frequent guest on Fox, tweeted, Rick, he says, POTUS, meaning the President of the United States, announces U.S. has no strategy on ISO and won't engage militarily with Russia. Was the purpose of the press conference to reaffirm U.S. weakness?
The purpose was to get in the news cycle before the long Labor Day weekend. He's doing some fundraising tomorrow, and then we have Labor Day, and he knows that these big crises are out there. He even talked about the economy at the top as another headline. But I think, look, what makes this so damaging is this admission, or the acknowledgement that there is no strategy. The White House wanted those words back right away, but the problem is that their explanation doesn't really make it that much better. They're saying, well, there is not a strategy particular to ISIS in Syria. Well, we know that they're there already. We know that's the issue right now. So it makes it very, very difficult to explain, and that kind of muddled messaging that doesn't go over well either domestically or internationally.
And it's not just all of us. It's Major Garrett from CBS is tweeting the same thing. He says 2 key quotes from POTUS presser, meaning the president. We don't have a strategy yet. 2, we're not taking military action to solve the Ukrainian problem.
And he is still so wedded to minimizing the very possibility that any U.S. military force will be used. When he talked about Iraq, remember, he reaffirmed the fact that we are just there to protect American consulate, to protect American forces. And we had taken some humanitarian actions with the Yazidi when they were trapped on the mountain, but we're not doing anything else.
And here, the Karen Tumulty, though, with her biting humor from the Washington Post, given the blowback on we don't have a strategy, White House probably now feeling grateful for attention to the tan suit. There are a billion tweets about his tan suit.
Right, exactly, which was a surprise, but not as big a surprise as this idea that, we don't have a strategy in Syria, and also that he ruled out military action, in the Ukraine. I mean, on a day when you want to see the president sort of leaning forward on that issue, where, the crisis might be escalating, he really leaned back there.
And he wouldn't answer Chuck Todd's question about, in order to fight ISIS, do you have to go into Syria? And he's got this long answer. It's about 2 pages long. I've gone over the transcript twice. He doesn't answer that question. He dodges.
That's right. And I think it raises the stakes for the meetings next week and meeting with NATO, because at this point he's going to have to build something internationally to try to act. And obviously, look, a lot of this is going to be judged in a much longer view as to how this plays out over the next weeks and months. I think, though, today's performance, though, is something the White House would clearly like to have back.
We only have 10 seconds, but he once again looks like he doesn't have a fire in his belly, does he?
And just imagine that you're one of the actors in this. You're ISIS, you're Vladimir Putin, and you're looking at this. This does not.
Or how would you like to have to face NATO next week and being the president of the United States and whatever. We'll see. Anyway, panel, thank you. And Joan Rivers.